Good morning, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. I am Huski, and we are here with the pre-season race for the RP series. The chance for myself, the viewers, and the drivers to get acquainted with the cars they will be driving this season, to get acquainted with what the racing is like in the RP series, which normally is very tight, very physically taxing, and extremely close. This race brings us to Indianapolis, the Brickyard, the world famous circuit known most, I think, for the Indy 500, which runs here, which is essentially people in Formula 1 cars that they decided need to go on ovals, throw them around for a couple of hours at insane speeds. I think I got that right. So this is the pre-season, the 21st of January 2024. And here is what our calendar looks like for the season. So as I said, pre-season Indianapolis. Race 1 will be next week, the 28th, at Hungaroring, followed by a visit on the 4th of February to Paul Ricard. Race 3 on the 11th of February will see us to Misano. Race 4 will see us to Donington Park on the 18th of February. On the 25th of February, we see ourselves at Spa-Francorchamps. And the final this season, we go back to the United Kingdom on the 3rd of March for the race at Brands Hatch. This season, the track selection looks very interesting. Some fast tracks and some long tracks as well. And one or two that will require the drivers to have a mix of focus, controlled aggression, and control of their car. It's sure to be an interesting season this season, and I will be here for the majority of the rounds. From race 2 onwards, you'll be hearing me, and in race 1 you'll be hearing one of my lovely colleagues, as I myself am away to the real world, Donington Park. So, updates for Season 10. As you can see by the calendar, we are going to a one race a week format. Before, it was every 2 weeks, a fortnight. What this means is, for drivers, this halves the time that they get to prepare and practice and be ready, which I'm sure will give us some very entertaining and very easy watching of the races, and might shake the field up as well if everything falls into place the way that I believe it will. As with last season, as we got acquainted to, the GT4s are not being returned today this season. And that will be rather interesting to see. Last season, the GT3s gave us very good championship battles up and down the field. And I'm pretty much expecting this season to be much of the same. The class system remains untouched, still with the 3 classes, Platinum, Silver, and Bronze. But, as was trialled last season, and the same this season as well, not all races are created equal. Now that might sound a bit confusing for the first time, if you've never heard me say this before, but not all races are created equal in the world of motorsports. This season, as we did last season, each race will be different in weather, length, and pit rules. This race specifically, we've got a 55-minute race following after the 20-minute qualification session, with 1 mandatory pit stop, Refueling is mandatory with a minimum refuel time of 25 seconds. One thing I myself love about the fact that the rules around pit stops are different per race is it means we get to see what forms of strategy come up and how the drivers adapt to the different race conditions. You know, normally when it was the hour format, an hour of race, we'd have people pit more or less between 35 minutes and 25 minutes left on the clock, giving that 10-minute window for drivers to pit in. Some drivers took fuel, some drivers didn't. But that 10-minute window was more or less what we were accustomed to in previous seasons, season 8 and before. And much of last season, this should bring us some very interesting views. So, we are coming up to qualification. Told you. 7 cars on the grid for today's race. Less than what we're used to. However, I'm sure we should still see some very interesting battles, especially up the front with Kovacs, Benke and Moreno. The 861 Bentley, the 861 Aston Martin, sorry, the 149 Bentley and the 922 Porsche respectively. Other drivers to make note of, Udadorp in the 229 BMW there. You can just see behind Pierre Moreno, who's exiting the pit lane from Pixel Chasers in that BMW. From what I've seen of him in previous seasons, he should be a very, very interesting contender throughout the season. I've seen some things from him, and I've seen a couple of races, and I myself have been impressed, and I'm curious of how he'll do in the season this way coming up. Martin Kovacs from the KVX Racing, the 861 Aston Martin this season. Last season, he was really quick, and I'm sure it'll be much of the same this season. But hunting for another RP Series title will be this man, Pierre Moreno. He has, in the past, won RP Series titles in seasons prior, having battles with the likes of Thomas Jack, Robin Moe, and as well Kovacs in the same way. He should be very, very interesting to watch this season, and at least from what I know of Pierre, he will be gunning for the title this season out. A couple of seasons without a title, if my memory serves me correctly, and he will be wanting to add another one to his collection after what I'm sure he would describe as a bit of a dry spell for himself. We used to seeing Pierre win races. We used to seeing him fight up the front of the field, not settling for second place, settling for the win or nothing. And again, I'm sure we will see this from him this season. So as we start our first laps, let us jump on board with Pierre Moreno as he runs through turn 1 into turn 2. So you get the right-hander into the left, then turn 3, left-hander very, very long, straightens out a bit into turn 4, but really it all just keeps going. And then another right-hander into 5. You need to get the car over the other side of the circuit for the left hand of 6. Runs all the way around. Very easy to get the back of the car unsettled there. Then slow it down for turn 7. You have got a very, very good bit of runoff there as you go onto a bit of road as well, but slowly over to the other side of the circuit for 8. Watch those curves on the inside. You can see just from that how brutal they can be. They are very, very raised. Then through the chicane of 9 and 10 into 11. You can cut that quite well. The curve is rather flat. Then onto the first bit of oval you will taste for the lap after the start-finish line. You're not on it for long though, as once again you're into a right-hander. The curves on the inside very, very tight and very, very easy to hit and send the car off. Now into the penultimate 2 corners. Left hand right hand. You're on the power all the way through this as you're then running onto the oval, over the bricks. And then that is a lap of Indianapolis. As our first time has come in, it goes to Uderdorp, setting the bar as a 1:37, but a 1:49. Oh, 4 tenths behind, a 1:38. And now we got Nicholas Vangelo coming up behind, as well as the Bentley of Frederick Schoblum. Both drivers either invalidated or was their first lap. Now, the driver I'm going to want to see on how he'll do is this man, Martin Kovacs. He has apparently invalidated already, but I believe this might be his outlap. And Pierre Moreno as well invalidated on that outlap, and I'm sure, on that flying lap, sorry. And I'm sure he's going to want to make sure he goes like the clappers, because he's going to want to start in front of the 861 Aston Martin to have a look at possibly starting front of the grid. If not first, the front row will help. I believe second place starts inside, which may give you a bit of an advantage into turn one if that Porsche has the legs to stay side by side with the Aston Martin off at the start. But keep in mind, first place dictates when you put the hammer down, more or less. After a while, it will tell you to go. But the front car sets the pace as through the final corner comes Pierre Moreno across the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:35.9. That was a very good lap there from Pierre. And it puts the next car that gives him any risk, the 1:49 Bentley, 1.5 seconds down. As the driver there has just set a 1:37.582. Not enough to improve past Jan Uderdorp, but enough maybe to set him up to contest. But now the driver we did want to see and what lap time he will set is Martin Kovacs. He's currently setting a very good time by the look of it, but everyone is more or less improving around the lap. So we will just have to see how this one goes. As really with qualifying is only half of the story. As I just smacked my monitor with my microphone stand, I do apologise about what sound that may have elicited there. But now coming through the final corner, where is Kovacs going to place? Will it be pole? It will be pole. A 1:35.605, putting himself provisional pole position. And a driver who is improving quite a lot is the Hymo car of Tristan Stork, the 66 McLaren 720S Evo, I believe that one is. They didn't change too much. As we had a yellow flag there for the Bentley. What happened? Or was it just a case of went across the grass, put the left-hand side into the barrier, and just made sure that he came back out as yellow flag for Stork, but it looks like he is just pulling up. As once more we see Martin Kovacs improving massively on his time. Already 4 tenths up into the final sector. His best sector one, however, is not the fastest so far today. It was a 37.5, beaten out by Pierre Moreno, whose best sector one was a 37.382. Sector 2, however, is the only driver in the 31 seconds for that sector, 31.612. And Sector 3, 37.5 as well, putting himself behind Pierre Moreno there as well. And across the line is an improvement again, a 1:35.277, fastest in both sectors. I did just remember this is a 2-sector track. So 37.125 in Sector 1 and a 31.612 in Sector 3. And overall time of 135.277. And a driver that we normally see improving season after season is Nicholas Vangelo, the 21 Torn Racing McLaren. We've seen Nicholas in many seasons before, and we have seen improvements from him each season. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that over the time that I've been commentating, he has become leaps and bounds as a driver. And I'm sure for him, the sky is the limit if he just keeps up the graft and keeps going. Oh, Frederick Schoblum there in the gravel. Let us have a look at what happened there for Frederick Schoblum. See, he's coming out of turn 3. The car just goes onto the grass. And that's it. You're railroading onto gravel. He tried to pull away from it, but no, that was not to be for him. There's a yellow flag for Nicholas. What has happened to the McLaren? He's gone a bit wider out of, I believe that's turn 6. Into 7, over the curb. The rear end's just gone on him. He's tried to catch it with the brakes, but no, that has ended up in the barrier. I think that will be some front end damage for him as well. Yeah, you can see from the GoPro on the front that there is some damage. You can see from the TV cam as well. That's not going to be ideal for the confidence. Once more, the front row looks to be a fight between Pierre Moreno and Martin Kovacs. I will be very, very curious to see how they go through the race. It's 8/10 separating the two drivers, as Kovacs has really just been improving lap after lap, little by little. So we will just have to see how he does. As we're currently following Tristan Stork. Heads through the final corners. He's just under 4/10 off of pole position in class. Udadorp. Let's have a look as he comes across the line. I don't think it's going to be enough to depose the BMW from provisional pole in the class. No, but puts himself just over a 10th behind. So there is definitely a lot there to gain as he goes deep into turn 1. Another driver improving who'll want to show a lot of improving is Mike in the 149 Bentley Yacht Club Bentley. The in-joke there is the Bentley is commonly referred to as the Boatley because it is a boat on wheels, essentially. I mean, look at it. It's like if the Nissan Qashqai had a GT3 counterpart. Actually, that's a good idea. Write it down. But 2/10 of improvement so far. I'm sure there'll be more there. That Bentley can eat curbs, but on a circuit like this with a lot of flat curbs, I'm not too sure how helpful that will be, because I think the big curves will still be very, very unlikely to be taken by that car. Oh, he's done the same thing as the previous lap. Hit the grass and just touched the gravel. Touched the barrier, sorry. I'm sure that wasn't what he wanted to see. Especially at this point of the qualifying with 6 minutes left to go. Kovacs pulling up there for the end of his session. And Pierre Moreno still gunning to break down that 9/10 gap. but I'm sure that is not what he would have wanted. As he doesn't improve that lap. I think it might have been invalid. No driver yet breaking the bar of the 34s. So we will just have to keep an eye on how Pierre does throughout this lap. As across the line for Pierre Moreno, is it an improvement? Yes. But only by about 2-ish, 2.5-ish tenths. Doesn't push him up. However, the potential is there. And the 149 Bentley as well. Coming onto the oval for the first time of the lap. You can just see how you need to avoid that inside curb there on the right hander off of the oval, but getting it wrong even by a little bit does just remove some time. And across the line, what's it gonna be? Is it an improvement of position? Yes, it is. Moves up to P4, splitting the silver cars in half. As we got a yellow flag for Nicholas. What has happened there? Let's have a look. The replay's jumping us back to turn 4, which it looks like he goes through that pretty fine. Into 5, we look good. Then into 6. Is this where it's all gone wrong? Yeah. The back end has just left him again. Gets off the circuit so the Bentley doesn't get held up too much. Yeah, very good, quick thinking there from the McLaren driver. But this is why we have pre-season, because it gives you this chance to get your arms around the car a little bit more. So we will just have to see and keep an eye on this front of the field. Pierre Moreno has gone back out. And we'll just have to have a look and see. But I don't think Pierre will get one more lap out in the Porsche. But he is slowing up, actually. So I'm not too sure. If he's just making sure that he's got plenty of time or plenty of gap to all the cars, it looks like he's waiting until the 951 car of Schoblem is through the first couple of corners and then has a couple of corners gap to the 66 of Stork as well. So we'll see. He will get one more lap out. So this, I think, will be make or break for the Frenchman. And I think that is his lap invalidated there. He's gone wide through turn 4 exit. I'm not too sure if he knows, but that will mean that the grid lines up like this then, with Kovacs in the lead in pole position with a 135.030. Pierre Moreno would line up P2 with a 135.7. Stork in third position, first of the silver cars, a 136.6, sorry. Udadorp in P4, second place in the silvers, a 136.795. Mike Venke in the Bentley Continental GT3, lining up with a 136.8, third of the silvers. And the final two, first and second of the bronzes, Frederick Schoblem, the 951. And Nicholas Vangeloou with the rounding out. So that gives us our 7-car grid for today's race. 55 minutes, 1 pit stop. We will see what happens. Because with motorsport, as I say, anything can happen, and most of the time it does. As we get the 35 seconds to go until the formation lap begins. We've got Robin Moe join the grid as well. He'll be coming in P8, the Fricadelli Racing Team Porsche. I'm not 100% sure if that's the old or the new Porsche. In fact, I believe it's the old Porsche he's in. You can look off the back if we get the cameraman quickly to run. That is the old Porsche. You can see the difference in the rear end. So we'll see how Robin Moe does. He has been placed at the back, not left side of Nicholas. Who I don't think has actually moved away on the start of the race. There, in fact, he has not. But it looks like we're going with final corner formation lap as well. Normally it's a full formation lap. This race, however, it seems that the clerk of the course has said final corner. Nicholas has gone into the pits. That will promote Robin Moe to 7th place off of the start. But as we have done in the past, as they head towards the bricks, at this great American circuit. Martin Kovacs leads, and we go green here, and already Pierre Moreno showing the acceleration of that Porsche. Looks to go defensive already against the Aston Martin, late on the brakes. That is a very, very good move. Maybe has to come back on. He goes a bit deep. There is a collision at turn 1. What has happened here? We're watching Stork. Keep your eyes on this pink McLaren. Into turn 1. It's a collision with a 145 Bentley. Oh, just a gentle tap gets that McLaren round at turn 1. That is not going to be what Tristan would have wanted to see from the start of the race. Remember, he was in pole position for silver, and now he's been put back to the rear of the field. And in that kerfuffle as well, Pierre Moreno has lost the lead he gained at the start of the race to Martin Kovacs, and Robin Moe has moved up to 5th position as well. He is fighting over the rear of Jan Udderdorp. Jeroen Udderdorp, sorry. My name's not very good. And the more they have to fight, the more and more the 2 lead cars will be able to get away. But this will be interesting to see how old Porsche versus new Porsche goes about in today's race. But as we break the beam on lap 1, Pierre Moreno, you can see, trying to get as much straight line speed, follow the draft of the Aston Martin as much as he can. The gap between the two already at the end of the first lap is half a second as they head into turn 1. Pierre Moreno braking late again, has to get that car very much slowed down, and in fact does what he does off at the start of the race and goes deep into the first corner, handing essentially 6/10 to Martin Kovacs, which is not what he would have wanted to see. And the 149 Bentley, this is Bentley v Bentley. This is the British manufacturer Civil War we are watching. This is platinum versus bronze, so this isn't for anything more than track position. Shoblam getting very loose. I think that traction control could do being put up a notch. Let's have a look. This has allowed the Bentley to get side by side into turn 8, and they'll be together side by side. Shoblam holds the outside very well there for the Finnish driver, and he's holding that very well. That was some amazing defending there by the 149 Bentley, but now they will be side by side. Mike will have the inside onto the oval and gets the move done. That was an amazing overtake there from the Bentley Yacht Club 149 machine. But I'm sure Shoblam might be trying to keep up the rear end of that car for the laps to come. And once more, we now see Robin Moe on the back of Jeroen Udderdorp. Where is he going to look? Is it going to be a lunge into turn 1? He's looking, decides against it though. And the more, as I said earlier, the more they fight, the further and further away Moreno and Kovacs will get. Currently the gap from Udderdorp, the 229 BMW, to Pierre Moreno is apparently 4.5 seconds. You can just see how tight that Porsche is against the BMW. He's looking left, right, trying to fake out a move. He's going to try the inside line. Watch the curb. And yep, he's fine. They've got through that all right. And these two are just glued together. We're going to jump on the rear wing of the BMW. You can see the Porsche coming. I think that BMW might be a bit quicker in a straight line. It's through the first two corners into turn 3 now. Look, you can just see the front of that Porsche appear through the wing. It's just a case of trying to figure out where Robin Moe will have to see and have to move essentially, because he can't sit behind forever, I don't think. But Jeroen Udderdorp is doing a brilliant job of keeping the Porsche at bay for now, but Robin Moe looking, thinks against it again. Udderdorp though goes a bit deep into the corner, but makes it work very well without going off track. See Robin Moe trying to open it up. He gets that door open. He put his foot in there a little bit to keep that door open. Now though, let's have a look. The Porsche, has he got through? Yes, he has. We need to have a look back at this so you can see here. This is through 2. No, this is into the final corner, sorry. You can see Robin Moe is right up the rear end. Looking down the straight as much as he can. You can see that Porsche is just hidden. He comes out near the braking zone. Just have a little look. Ducks back in to get the line through the corner. Jeroen Udderdorp goes deep, but manages to hold it off. And then gets that door wide and open through turn 3. Allows himself to be door to door through 4. And then through 5, Udderdorp goes a bit deep onto the grass. And that's that move completed for Robin Moe. That is already, I think, a contender for move of the season, but we'll have to see as the move goes, as the moves come in, just what happens. And now that means your top 3 is headed up by this man, Martin Kovacs. P1 in Platinum, P1 overall, the 861 Aston Martin, followed by Pierre Moreno. Still got that Aston Martin in his sights. The gap before the braking zone was 3 seconds. And then Robin Moe about a straight behind, with Silver being Udderdorp, the 229 BMW just behind Mike Benge in the 149 Bentley, and Tristan Stork in the 66 McLaren. He had that tussle earlier with a Bentley, so we'll have to just see what happens. And rounding off, we have Frederick Schoblem, the race time / Oink Motorsport 951 Bentley in the lead of bronze. And with 45 minutes of the race, will just now be an interesting case of what is going to happen as Tristan Storr is chasing the rear end of that 149 Bentley. You can see it getting closer and closer through each corner. The gap is sitting at about 1.8, 1.9 seconds, around that ballpark. So you can just hear that gearbox going down as well, just boom, boom, boom as it goes down. You could hear probably 6th to 5th to 4th to 3rd, maybe to 4th, I'm not too sure. On that one I didn't catch the boom, boom, boom. We're now in lap 6 of today's race. Now the grid has more or less stabilised for now. We'll have to see what happens when the pit stops come in. And the gap out the front is currently sitting at 5.7 seconds over the beam, over the bricks, for the start of lap 8. Now let's have a look at the best lap of today's race for our drivers. The best lap overall was Martin Kovac's, a 135.532. Pierre Morano's 136.2 flat. Robin Moore 136.7. Jeroen Uldorf a 137.1. Mike Benke a 137.06. Stork a 136.495 and Frederick Shublem a 138.8. As also just looking as well, let us have a look at the BOP. So for this season and last season as well, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, the RP series is running BOP this season. With Kovacs having minus 17 kilograms in the Aston Martin, PM Ramos minus 7 in the Porsche, Robin Moe minus 40 in the older Porsche, Udadot minus 8 in the BMW, Venki minus 23 in the Bentley, Stork plus 1 in the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo, and Shublem the minus 23 in the Bentley as well. As we're watching these gaps get tighter too. 1.7 just over, just under, sorry, from the 149 to the 229. And then 1.8 just under between the 66 and the 149 as well. This means Mike's going to have fighting between himself. And once he reaches the Bentley ahead, what I believe might happen is while they're battling, Stork can hopefully, I think he'll say hopefully, be able to capitalise on the inherent slowing of the pace that a battle does bring to close that gap and be in the fight for the lead of Silver Class. Keep in mind he had it and had that tussle at turn 1 on the first lap of the race, and that has meant he's been on the back foot a little bit so far, and will be trying to fight to gain that position back, I believe. Will be very interesting to see is now that gap has threatened to get under a second. 1.1 it seems. And 8 tenths, just under 9 tenths really, as they got across the line. So we will, I think, be seeing the battle between these two drivers. very, very soon. And now within half a second of each other by the look of it. So we will have to see. Now, towards the start-finish line, both of the drivers are, I think, putting the hammer down quite hard. A 37.6 for the 149. Has a look into the first corner, but thinks against it. It can work, but you need to be very careful not to go in too hard. But as I said, as they battle harder and harder, and as it all starts to defend off of the 149 Bentley, they will start slowing each other up, allowing the 66 of Stork to get closer and closer, which he is. The gap now between Stork and Benke is 1.1, 1.0 seconds. So I think this is actually working out how Stork would have wanted this to so far. As into the pit lane we go for the two drivers. It looks like Stork stays out. I can't quite see. Yes, he does. Which means the 149 and the 229 car are both going to the pit. It will now, I think, all depend, really, on who gets a better stop. Keep in mind, 25 seconds mandatory refuel. And Udadorp stops first. We will see. He's got about 3 second advantage in the stop time. Now the question will be, how quick will Stork get round the circuit into the pits? Because everyone has to pit. As Udadorp, a 30-second pit stop. Mike is still in the pit lane. A 39-second stop for the Bentley. So that is going to give him a bit of ground to make up. With the total stop time for the two drivers being a 1:24 line to line for Udadorp and a 1:32 line to line for Benke, the 229 and the 149. Stork now in the pit lane, so we will see if Udadorp will be able to catch up and get that position back. Keep in mind, Stork had a decent amount of time to get ahead in completely clean air. So I think it might be close, really. The Stork has been released from the box. We'll see though, coming through the final corner. I think it will be tight. Urine is moving. Where is that pink McLaren? He's got past him, so the overcut hasn't fully worked there, but now turn one, is he going to be clearing the McLaren? Yes, he is. But they had identical line-to-line times, even though Stork had a 2-second longer stop. So I think he clearly hit those lines extremely well. In fact, and has given himself a 4.2 second gap to climb back up. Now the question will be, when will the top 3 cars box in? Robin Moe has just answered my question, coming into the box now. Pierre Moreno out for another lap, so maybe Moe is gunning on the undercut. Will work out. As Pierre Moreno into the pit lane as Robin Moe comes out. So we trade one Porsche for another Porsche in the pits. Now the question will be for the Porsche, just where is he gonna be when Pierre Moreno comes out? Let's see, Pierre Moreno has been released from the box. I think he's going to make it to the line, but I'm not sure. Where is that Spectre car going to be? Robin Moe made the undercut work. That was a very, very good bit of strategic envisioning and knowledge. As now Robin Moe has come out ahead of Pierre Moreno. P3 overall, P2 on the road. And now Pierre Moreno with 3 seconds. But switching to something that has been brewing, Tristan Stork, the Hymo car, on the back of the Pixel Chasers 229 BMW, piloted by Jeroen Udderdorp. This is for the lead of silver. Keep in mind, Tristan Stork qualified pole position in class. Now he's right on the back end. As Udderdorp heads into the pit lane again. Martin Kovacs actually running P2 behind Frederick Schoblem, the only car left to pit. Kovacs there has actually stopped on the circuit. I'm not too sure why. I think to give himself a gap because Frederick Schoblem still has to box. With 22 minutes left in today's race, we'll have a look when Finn decides to hit the box. But it's not yet by the look of it. So we will just have to see what happens there with the race time Bentley. We'll see. Here's Frederick Schoblem pitting in this lap. No, he's not. He's still not boxing. But as it currently stands, Frederick Chauvelin is the only car yet to pit. With 18.5 minutes just about left in today's race. From the look of it, Kovacs is gaining on the race time Bentley. I'm not too sure when Frederick Chauvelin is going to box in today. We'll just see. 17.5 minutes left. As we keep moving on, Robin Moe still out ahead of Pierre Moreno. That stop really did do him wonders. He boxed in. Just as he was coming out, Pierre Moreno was going in, so he had essentially a full lap to try and catch up. Pierre Moreno will actually at this moment have 6 seconds to catch. And Robin Moe has 3.3 as we've got a yellow flag for Martin Kovacs, who goes into the pit lane. What has happened there for our platinum leader? This is into 8. He's just overshot that into the gravel and has had to return to the pits, which will promote Robin Moe to the lead of the race. That will be very interesting turn of events, because Pierre Moreno now will see the victory is there and will be pushing as hard as he can. remember, Frederick Chobham still has to box. .5 seconds separate the two drivers. 6.1 seconds, sorry. And as it currently stands, Robin Moe is extending that gap out behind while bringing that gap down ahead. But Chobham there has gone into the pit lane, so that will be his pit stop. Now let's see, 9.5 minutes left, so we're into the final 10 minutes of the race. With Robin Moe running out in the lead, 8.3 seconds. Separating himself from Pierre Moreno. Now we will just watch. 7.5 minutes left. Pierre Moreno, that gap is decreasing. As once again to finish another lap, so we just start. Pierre Moreno, 11 seconds now is the gap. But I'm sure will not be ideal. The old Porsche has been showing its colours today. Now across the line, 5 minutes left of today's race. Robin Moe, the driver who started at the back of the grid. Looking at the times we should have, I think, if my math is right and not terrible, which, okay, sure, normally it's quite bad. 3 laps left? 2 or 3? Think. I could be completely wrong in my math, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, I think we will be coming up to start the final lap this time round for Robin Moe, who, remember, from 8th on the grid is coming through to maybe take the victory here. He's got one more lap to get around. He has got Frederick Schoblum to get past as well, who did pit very late in the race. I think using the pre-season more as a extended test session. Without much fuss at all. Really, he gets himself through. Now into the final sector of the circuit. Into the final corner now to come across the finish line and take the victory here at the preseason is Robin Moe from 8th on the grid. Got his way through, made a brilliant move against Jurgen Hunnerdorp earlier on in the race. And then made the undercut work beautifully against this man here, Pierre Moreno, who comes through second in Platinum and second overall. Frederick Schoblum rounds off 5th to come first in the bronze class, as well as Mike Menke comes around the final corner, followed shortly after by Tristan Stork to come third in Platinum and overall, and then 4th overall. First in class is Stork, which leaves the standings as Robin Moe, number 3 Porsche, takes the win, followed by Pierre Moreno, Mike Menke, Tristan Stork, Frederick Schoblum to take the wins there and to round off the grid. So let's remember to the calendar. Hungaroring, the 28th of January. Next week, I will not be here. I will be at the Real World Donington Park. But you will be getting commentary and coverage from one of my amazing colleagues. Next week, on Sunday, the same time, 7:20-ish GMT/UTC. And then I will be back on the 4th of February for round 2 at Paul Ricard. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.